Changing the game, JT and the Don with your hosts, Jimmy Thompson and Donato Bucci. They're covering the most current issues in sports from the 305 to the 412 and all the way to the West Coast. You can follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at JT and the Don or email them at jtandthedon@gmail.com. Now take it away, guys.
Give them a shot to do what?
Welcome to the next episode of JT and the Don, presented by Give Us a Shot Network. I am the Don, Donato Bucci, and remember to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you find all of your other favorite podcasts. And remember to leave us a 5-star review. Thank you to Nicole Thompson for the wonderful introduction, into our guy Mike Regina with the JT and the Don intro pump up music. Football is in full swing. You got the MLB playoffs heating up. You've got the fall weather kind of taking over the Northeast here soon. But one guy that doesn't have to worry about the fall weather, everyone's favorite, JT, Jimmy Thompson. Let me welcome him in. How you feeling today?
Thanks for the intro, man. But I mean, it's getting a little chilly down here. It's like 75 degrees.
Sorry,
I can go outside and sit on my porch.
Yeah,
I mean,
75. Sorry.
I mean, it's not like snowing or anything.
Might have to put socks on. Sorry.
Oh, you mentioned all that. You didn't say anything about the NHL kicking off, right?
I did not. Good point. My Penguins lost.
And I figured that's why you didn't say anything, because y'all lost to the future go.
We lost to the future Sidney Crosby.
Exactly. You know what? I knew that game was a wrap. I don't know if you saw the commercials for that. They were like putting him and Crosby in the same room to kind of hype it up, and Crosby's making all his jokes, and the kid's like, "Yeah, old man, like, whatever." Like, get out of my face.
And
I'm about to whip your ass on opening.
That's crazy to think, right? Because you still think of Sidney Crosby as like this young guy, and he's got three cups under his belt. But you realize, man, 36, this dude's half the age. They said when Crosby was drafted, this guy was 13 days old, Connor.
It's a sign, man. It's like,
That's
and it's
crazy.
because he looks young, and they call him Sid the Kid, and that kind of sticks with you. Like, he doesn't look like an old man. But yeah, it's been crazy to think that he's been in the league that long.
Yeah.
Like, he's been the best player in hockey for basically most of his career.
Thank you. Because I'm going to hear from the Washington fans.
I'm an Ovechkin guy, man. Like, when they were in their prime, I was like, hey, Ovechkin is it.
Nah.
But I mean, like, if we're looking at generational talent, like, I'm going to put Crosby slightly above, but I'm still an Ovechkin guy.
I'm going to fall back to what people say: Elway better than Marino, and Brady better than Manning. Go look at the rings then. I'm going to finally use it in favor of the guy that I root for.
Well, I will say this. It's good for the future of hockey, because I think they were saying that game last night, your guys' game, was like the highest watched NHL game, like, on cable. So,
like, in what recent memory?
Yeah, they were saying, like, the viewers that tuned in for that, I think, like, one of the largest in cable history for NHL games. So, I mean, people wanted to see the young gun. He didn't disappoint.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I believe that. Chicago obviously is a big market. Pittsburgh, even though it's not a big market, but a big hockey market that has a following. Crosby, Bedard, so they did a good job, hyping that one up. So, well, JT, I hate starting the show this way, but we got to go through some pain and just get through it. College football, quick recap. We got to start with our Miami Hurricanes. 33 seconds remaining in the game. They are up 20-16 on Georgia Tech. Game is in the bag. No timeouts, Georgia Tech. Play clock 40 seconds. Miami doesn't take a knee. Georgia Tech strips the ball, recovers it, ends up going 75 yards in 3 plays. Game, set, match, 23-20, Georgia Tech. as one of our loyal listeners told me earlier before coming on the show, the ESPN analytics, whatever you want to call it, at that time,
the win percentage
was 99.9%.
In the words of Jim Carrey, so you're saying there's a chance. And it was true. There was a chance.
There was a chance for Georgia Tech, and Miami kind of gave it to them. So let's start off. I think the answer is obvious, but who deserves the most blame for this loss?
Oh, it's Cristobal. Like, we can say whatever we want. The players should have known to kneel and call the audible. His coordinator should have, been in his ear. Even though, I don't know if you've seen the video, there is a video of Maribel coming to both him and the OC saying that, hey, like, this is the time scenario, kneel it. And they're just acting like he isn't there. So even with all that going around, it falls on Mario Cristobal. You are the leader of this program. You are the face of this program. You are the head coach. Not just the head coach, like, you are the savior of this program. And you got to win in the bag in a game that you did not play particularly well. And the other reason it's on him is you got to be aware of your record. I didn't know this. He hasn't won a home conference game yet. Like, this is your first time to do that. It's in the bag. 99%. It's in the bag. And you're like, nah, I'm just going to go back and roll the dice again. And you lost. So it's on him. Like, he should have known better in that situation. Don't risk it. I don't care if it was to get John Chaney as 100 yards, because he got it and we lost. It's on the coach. You got to put the team in the win above everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what else to add. You get paid $80 million over 10 years, which is $8 million a year, to make really hard decisions.
They could have paid me nothing, and I could have made the right call. They could have paid me nothing, and I could have got that win for them.
They paid them that to turn around a program, to make the tough decisions, to get guys, in the right directions to recruit, or in the right direction and to recruit. But it doesn't take an $8 million coach to get in victory formation and take a knee. So who deserves the most blame? Of course it's him. And what I didn't like about the press conference, even though he ends up saying, that's on me, we should take a knee, but he also has to throw in, well, we could have played a lot better. Dude, you had the game won. Every coach
you could have coached a lot better.
Every coach is going to say we could have played a lot better, whether they won 56-0 or won, 23 or 20-16. I don't understand why he had to throw that little dig into the players. Just own up to it. Say it's on me. We're going to turn the page. I'm going to do better. They had the game won. So Mario Cristobal, you got to look in the mirror. So speaking of Mario Cristobal, JT, should the U fire him at this point?
If you'd have asked me this question on Saturday night, hell yeah, I would be like, look, man, like, leave him on the runway. Too bad it was a home game. We can't leave him in the parking lot.
Leave him in the parking lot. Trust me, the fans would have taken care of the business.
I mean, Mario Cristobal is a big dude, but I mean, after that night, he might not have
made it out. You've seen Canes fans after Florida State losses. You don't want to be near them.
Yeah, I would. My immediate reaction was like, yeah, this is a fireable offense, but I just can't overreact. Yes. Was this all-time bad? Absolutely. Will they talk about this loss and blunder forever? Yeah, like, so be it. But we can't ignore the good things that he's done with the program. Like, he's bringing in talent. Our team looks night and day better than it did last year. And I'm not even sure the recruits that he has brought in are even the ones making the difference. Like, this is the same team basically playing from last year. Offensive line looks more dominant. And we talked about this during the game and after the game. Like, you forget, past 2-3 years, Miami has been one of the worst tackling teams on defense. Like, how many games have we seen guys just can't tackle and big plays galore? It's not happening this year. We're the ones hitting people hard, making open field tackles, and our defense is playing good, which is why we're in that game. And then, like I said, the recruiting. So I just can't gloss over all the good that Mario's done, even though this really, really bad moment happened. So, no, we can't fire him because, I mean, we're not going to do better right now than him.
Yeah, so, listen, it's a fireable offense. It is a fireable offense because if you can't do that basic thing, it's like when running backs fumble in the NFL. Bill Belichick cuts them, JT, right? Ball security is job secured. So if you can't do this basic aspect of coaching, and I don't care what level it is, that you can't figure out the math that, hey, if we take a knee, no timeouts, under the play clock, game is over. Why are you running it? If you can't master that, I don't know how you can be a head coach. That is the most fundamental thing in terms of coaching in football is victory formation, take a knee, get out of there.
You can't wait to get to that play.
Yeah. Every coach dreams about that. Every player dreams about that. The quarterback, the O-line. So if you can't do that, it's a fireable offense. Now, should he be fired? The answer is no, unfortunately, because he has a 10-year, $80 million deal. He is not even 2 full years into that deal. And right now, at the end of this
season,
research
his buyout.
Yeah,
hold on, tell.
I did.
Because now I don't believe you. I feel like you're only giving the answer that we should let him stay because you researched the buyout. You're like, it's not worth it.
Absolutely. Yes, that's my answer. JT, at the end of this season, his buyout would be in the range of $65 million. We're not Alabama.
He up there with Mel Tucker.
Yeah, we're not Texas. We're not Texas A&M. We can't buy him out. So what you're
saying is we need to set him up.
No,
we need to set Cristobal up.
Don't go there.
We're not paying him $60 billion.
Don't go there. But his buyout $65 million.
I'm just saying what's out there on the internet. I'm not pointing no fingers or saying no names, but I'm just saying, do we need to consult outside experts on how to get out of a buyout?
No, don't go down that road. We're not sort of podcast. We're not that sort of sports talk show.
It could be, though.
Listen, no, we don't want to be. Listen, there's 65 million reasons to keep him, so we should not fire him. Now, JT, last question here. What happens to this team the remainder of the season?
I don't know. I really don't know. And like I said, if you asked me Saturday night, I would say the season is over because in the past, when Miami loses these types of games, it really derails our season. And we're going to find out a lot in this UNC game. Like, is this the Miami team with the psyche of what we're used to? Or is this really a different type of team with tough, resilient kids, and they go forget about this game and just do the best they can and try to beat UNC? So the honest answer is I don't know because I really don't know what this team is made of yet. But we're going to find out this weekend because they don't got an easy opponent. UNC has probably the second best quarterback in college football and probably the second best quarterback over the past 2 years. So we're going to find out real quick if we've gotten over that loss.
Yeah, you just said it. In the past,
did I?
We would lose this game, then we would lose the next one, and then we'd run into Clemson and get blown out, and then we'd lose to a UVA. And ironically enough, we play UNC, ranked number 12. Then we play Clemson. Then we play UVA. And I would not be surprised if we go 0-3 in those 3 games, even though UVA does not look good. We always seem to struggle against that. JT, we should not have struggled against Georgia Tech. Right?
Yeah, I agree, but I mean
that's my concern. We'll
find out. We don't know this for a fact. Maybe we've been playing above our heads. Like maybe this is who we are. We're gonna find out.
We've played.
Texas A&M is clearly not a end all be all barometer for the talent of your team.
But they were a good one.
But I mean, they're just like us. Like they quit in tough situations too because we did it last year at their house. Like so we just trading scenarios. So UNC will tell me 90% of what I need to know about this team.
But this is the thing. If Cristobal says who he is and he's building the team the way we think he is, they respond Saturday at UNC. I'm not saying they win, but they don't get blown out like in the past. They don't give up 500 yards to Javonte Williams and Michael Carter, 250 apiece, right? Setting an NCAA rushing record for teammates.
Except they're going to give up 400 to Drake May. So
but see, if we think they're going along the right road, they don't allow that to happen.
I'm saying we're going to play bad because I want them to prove me wrong. Because every time I say we're going to be good, we choke in these games. So we're going to play terrible. I'm using reverse psychology. That's all I got. That's all I got as a Canes fan.
I will say this. If I had to make a prediction for how bad.
You should save it
for how bad. Hold on. I'm not giving a game prediction. For how bad that ending was, I think they come out and they give UNC a run for their money. I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
All right.
All right, one quick check down game for college football. Again, check down game. We'll do it for the NFL, but quick reminder: we'll give an answer. We'll give a question, and then we'll give multiple answers to it, and we pick the answer that fits the question best. So, bigger surprise in college football: Missouri or Louisville?
Oh, it's close. I mean, nobody saw Louisville being undefeated, but I mean, people legit thought Missouri was going to be one of the worst teams in the SEC. Like, they're competitive, but I got to give it to Missouri, man. Like, I didn't think they had a quarterback. Yeah, I didn't think they had a quarterback. I mean, I did think they had the breakout player of the year, which I said, which is Luther Burden, but that's all I thought they had. Like, I got to go with Missouri, man. SEC is much tougher.
They took Georgia as close as anybody last year. All right. So that to say this is surprising, but what have they done? Like, that's the thing that people say, oh, surprising. All right. Miami surprising? We were 4-0.
Yeah, we surprised a lot of people on Saturday.
We beat Temple. We beat some of these other teams. I mean, look who they've beaten. South Dakota, Middle Tennessee State, which is not very good. Kansas State by 3. No, Missouri, I'm saying. That was last year.
They out a good program.
I didn't say program. We're talking about this year. Middle Tennessee is not a good team this year. Kansas State, 3-point win by Missouri at home. Memphis, they only beat them by 7 at home. They beat Vanderbilt, and then they lost in convincing fashion in the end to LSU. So what have they done that's been so great? Let's go look at Louisville.
Yes,
they're 6-0. They're number 14. They beat Notre Dame, which the Don of Sports predicted. The bigger surprise is Louisville, because that's the
first time he's quoted his predictions in the show. Your record must be getting better, because now I'm going to hear more bullshit from you.
If someone would have said at the beginning of the year, 5-1 Missouri, 6-0 Louisville, what is more likely? You would have said 5-1 Missouri. They lose to LSU. Come on. Bigger surprise is Louisville.
But I'm going.
Shout out. No, it's not even close. Shout out to Coach Cassidy, Coach C. That was his sleeper team, was Louisville. So great job. That is why, as we always say, he's our college football expert. All right. So let's go to week 5 of the NFL. Everything's starting to heat up, JT. So let's go to some reactions, review, recap, whatever you want to call it. First question, as usual, give us one player, performance, or storyline that you're not overreacting to at this point.
I hate to sound like a hater, and I'm not shitting on the kid, but this is getting out of hand, man. I'm hearing all kind of names that should not be mentioned in the same sentence as this player, and I'm not overreacting to this.
Sounds like you are.
Lynn Sanity moment right now. I'm not overreacting to it. Yeah. I'm just not. I have heard Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. He's the best quarterback since Andrew Luck. Somebody called him Dan Marino. I was like, I don't know what that dude was smoking, but the names that we are using to describe a kid, is his journey unbelievable? Absolutely. Like, it's never seen nothing like it. But he's playing for the San Francisco 49ers that might have the combination of the best roster and the best coach in the NFL. And the dude hasn't played a full season worth of games. Like, I got to see him really do it, because here's the one thing I want to see with him. At some point, he's going to lose. At some point, he's going to have a bad stretch. Every player does. How does he respond? How does he respond to that? But to say what we've seen so far, oh, yeah, he's Brady out there? Come on, man. Like, that is the ultimate overreaction.
JT, yeah. That's how it started for Tom Brady. Someone like you in a position of journalist said, pump the brakes. He didn't even play a full season. Drew Bledsoe had to bail him out. This guy's never going to get back to the Super Bowl. 9 Super Bowls later, 6 Super Bowl victories later. Now he's the GOAT.
You know what? When Brock Purdy goes to his 10th Super Bowl, then I'll come back and say,
he already went to one NFC. He went to one NFC title, and they probably.
And what happened in that game? He played a real defense. They beat his ass.
But the difference is, Tom Brady got hurt against the Steelers in the 0-2 AFC title game. Drew Bledsoe came in. Who came in here? Josh Johnson. If Drew Bledsoe came in, all right, a young Drew Bledsoe comes in, they go to the Super Bowl. Purdy steps in, and the 49ers win the Super Bowl. So, just I see what you're saying.
So Am I right that I'm not over? I shouldn't be overreacting.
I see
Purdy?
what you're saying.
It seems like you're saying I should. I should go buy my Purdy jersey and just say he's Brady.
Maybe.
I saw somebody saying that just give him the number 16 already because he's already Joe Montana. Like this shit is out of hand. It is out of hand.
I'm just saying.
Come on, man. That's got to be the answer.
I see what you're saying, but you may.
Of course, you see what I'm saying. You got 4 eyes. You can see it as clear as day.
Wow, that's insulting nowadays. Listen, but you may eat some crow sandwich because that may come back to haunt you by the end of the year that you don't believe in Brock.
I'm not saying he's not good, but he gotta do things first. He gotta play a full season. He's gotta win Super Bowls. He's gotta win MVP. Like, yeah, no, I'm not overreacting. Who you got?
All right, I've got the Bengals. I'm not overreacting to this performance that they beat Arizona.
He's like, I left them out of the playoffs. I said they were done. And damn it, now they're doing the same shit they did last year.
No, this is different this year. They barely beat Arizona. They were actually down. They were actually only up 24-20 going into the fourth. Arizona didn't have James Conner, and they needed an all-time performance, the Bengals, by their guy Jamar Chase to bail them out. I'm not sold that Joe Burrow is 100%. Everyone said, he looked much better. Okay.
Sure he's not 100%.
Tell me how he feels in 3 weeks, in 4 weeks when it starts to get cold out. All right. To me, this is false hope for the Bengals. And they're missing T. Higgins, I believe. Like, this is false hope. That's why I'm not overreacting to this victory I heard someone say they're in a great position for how Burrow's been hurt, how teams were writing them off. You would have thought they were 0-5. And then it's like, they're only 1 game out of the division. Yeah, they lost to 2 division teams already. All right. And Pittsburgh actually is in a better spot for how bad Pittsburgh has looked. They're leading the division. And Baltimore hasn't hit their stride, and neither has Cleveland. So I'm not overreacting to this victory. One player performance or storyline that you're now panicking on.
I know this seems like an easy answer because they haven't won a game. But I'm panicking on the Panthers. And I'm panicking on them not only because they haven't won a game, it's just it's starting to look bad from the on-field perspective, head coach perspective, and GM perspective, owner, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's clear they chose the wrong quarterback, and they traded away their future to get Bryce Young. CJ Stroud looks better right now. And Anthony Richardson, who we'll talk about in a little bit, has looked better in limited capacity, but they look like they chose the wrong quarterback. They gave up a lot to get him. They have no talent on this team around this quarterback. Now you have the coach coming out saying that basically we were sold on this other guy until the guy upstairs made an executive decision and say we got to take Bryce Young. So now there's a rift between you and management, and now the guy who's playing quarterback knows this, and it's just bad, man. Like, that's usually how that's how things like the Raiders start. When everything starts to go awry, nobody at any level is getting along with anybody. Nobody trusts anybody. And to make matters worse, I feel bad because Bryce Young is already hurt. He's not playing well. And I don't know if you heard this, but they were saying that he is so small that they can't put the quarterback sneak package into their playbook. So it's like, damn. Like, even if it's on the lines close, like, Bryce Young can't even QB sneak to help you win. So all that across the board, I'm panicking on the Panthers. Like, it's beyond wins and losses. I feel like this organization could be falling apart.
I want to know how that info comes out that the coach or the coaching staff's not sold on the guy.
He said it on a press conference.
That's great.
Frank Reich said it at a press conference.
What is he doing? What is he thinking? I don't understand that.
You know why he's doing that?
To save his job?
No, this is the same thing that happened to Brian Flores, and he kept his mouth shut. He's like, I wanted Justin Herbert, and y'all told me I had to draft Tua, and the shit didn't work out, and it cost me my job. And now everybody thinks that I'm a bad head coach. Like, he wanted CJ Stroud. I mean, we knew that. We knew that they were in love with CJ Stroud. But they went Bryce Young.
But what Mike McDaniel is doing now offensively, listen, I don't know who hired the OC for the Dolphins when Flores was there, but you look, Tua looks legit now. So, you could have had Herbert and everything would have been fine too. But
Brian Flores is somewhere on the sidelines as a coordinator instead of a head coach saying, I don't give a damn about that progress because him not playing well while I was there got me fired. And that's exactly what Frank Reich is doing. And if anybody knows how shitty quarterbacks that are chosen by other people other than him can affect your job, Frank Reich knows because he just did it with the Colts. He had to play with twice two shitty quarterbacks that he did not pick, and it got him fired. So it's the Panthers, man. I'm full panic on that organization.
Hey, you're doing a good job. Whatever you ate, whatever you drank pregame to the show, hey, whatever happened during the day, make sure you're in that same routine because you're actually doing a good job tonight.
I rejected, so I'm just on one.
Hey, you're doing a good job tonight, so keep that up. Whatever you've been doing.
Doesn't mean I'm going to carry you. You got to contribute.
Oh, I always do. I always
step
do.
It up. Who you got?
Listen, I'm going to take, as JT says, I'm going to take that low-hanging fruit, all right?
I never say this.
Yes, you do. You say it all the time. I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys. I'm panicking. If I was a Cowboys fan, thank goodness I'm not, I'd be panicking. 42-10, you hype up this game all off season, right, of how you're going to get your revenge. You're going to show what you're worth. This is the game. We got to be physical, blah, blah, blah. 42-10? 42-10?
It felt like it was worse than that.
Yeah. And you lost to Arizona already. All right. No Diggs anymore. The offense does not look good. Right. And we kind of knew this with Mike McCarthy.
We did. Oh, you who was like, oh, Mike McCarthy locked himself in a bunker in the woods for a year. And he learned the analytics of the modern offense. You just wait, JT. Give him a chance. Give him a chance. He reinvented himself. Guess what? Exactly what I told you then. He is shit. He is horrible.
That was 4 years ago. All right.
That's still wrong.
That was 4 years ago. And I was just saying, give him a chance. But we saw this coming in that nothing has changed since he has taken over the head coaching job. So, I mean, yeah, I'd be panicking. This season is going down the tubes really, really quick. And there's not going to be anybody to come in there and save them.
There's no Kellen Moore to help you out this time.
There's no one. There's no Tony Pollard that's going to come in and save Zeke. Like, Tony Pollard is the guy. There's no one coming in. Like, there's no more Gallup coming back from injury. There's no more of that.
You know what's crazy about Tony Pollard? I actually was close to picking Dallas as the not panic because I think the 49ers in that situation, I just think it wasn't a good matchup. Oh, Tony Pollard does worry me. Like, if I had to pick somebody to panic on, it would be him. I don't think he's fully healthy from that injury. Yeah. I was looking it up, and guess who leads the league in least missed tackles, like, per carry? Like, it's him. Like, he's the least evasive running back in the league right now. Like, Tony Pollard, I would never thought I would see that where he's making the least amount of people miss tackles. Like, I never thought I would say that about him. Like, that's his game. So that tells me he's either not who we thought he was, or he's just not healthy yet from that injury.
I don't think he's healthy. I mean, that happened in late January. It was a bad injury. Like, I don't know how he came back so quick.
It's like, man, if I got a sore shoulder in January, I'm still hurting by now. Like, he broke his leg in half, so I can't imagine he's the same player yet.
Yeah, I don't think, and maybe he doesn't get back to that, but I think it's the Cowboys. They hype it up. There's got to be panic.
I'm not panicking on them just yet. It's the 49ers. They're a good team.
And to that effect, that's fine, JT. They are a good team, but 42-10, you don't put up a fight.
It happens.
It happens to them all the time against the 49ers.
And the Cowboys just did that to another team that was a playoff team last year. Like NFL is weird like that, man.
They
like
lost to Arizona.
The Dolphins did it. We put up 70 on the Broncos, and then the Bills put up 50 on us, and then they lose to Jacksonville.
But it's the
NFL, man. It happens.
You were in that game against Buffalo. It wasn't like a blowout. It wasn't like they just beat you up. Like, it is a different field. All right, let's play check down game real quick because we got a lot to go through here. Again, we give a question. We'll give multiple answers. We pick the answer that fits the question best. So, more concerning NFL. More concerning injury, Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones?
Even though Daniel Jones is a neck injury, it seems like they didn't put him on IR. So that tells me they think he's going to play.
He's actually day to day, so he could play Sunday.
Yeah. And he had this injury before, I think back in like 2011 or something like that.
So 2021, but it's not the same neck injury. It
It
was a neck injury in 2021, but it's not the same.
But the easy answer is Anthony Richardson, man, for a couple reasons. One, he's only played 4 games, and 2 of them he didn't even make it to halftime. So he's already getting knocked out of games. And Trevor Lawrence tried to tell him on the field, and he didn't want to listen. He's like, "Hey, man, this league, you're gonna learn. You got to get down to avoid those hits because they're gonna take some years off your life." And he was right. 4 games in, and he's already done. So he has, I think it's a grade 3 AC sprain to his throwing shoulder. Are you kidding me? Grade 3 means basically what's going to happen is he's going to be out 48 weeks. He's on IR.
Yep.
Then what they're going to do is in 8 weeks, they're going to reassess what it looks like to see if it's really still messed up or not. That means it's basically either completely separated or there's a fracture in there. That's what that means. So I don't see the scenario where he comes back this year. It's not like it's his non-throwing shoulder where it's all right, cool. It's the right arm. And he's a quarterback that plays the game off of contact. You just took this guy in the top 5. I don't see how he comes back. So his injury is more devastating to me because he needs his right arm to be the franchise quarterback. And you have to kind of save him from himself. You can't bring him back because you see what he's going to do. He's going to go right back in there and just do what he does, take on people, and he's going to be hurt again.
Yeah, I mean, the hit, it's Anthony Richardson easily. The hit didn't look good, and no QB wants a shoulder or elbow injury. Anytime that starts to come up, that's concerning.
I started thinking about Big Ben.
Yeah, and the whole IR thing in 4 to 8 weeks minimum, that's concerning. And Daniel Jones, again, it's not the same neck injury. He's not on IR. So of those 2, I'm not saying the Daniel Jones one couldn't be serious, but of the 2, definitely more concerning is Anthony Richardson. All right, next injury, Devon Achane or James Conner?
I feel like Conner's the easy one, but I'm actually going with Achane. And this is the issue that I had. And I know we said it's not a fantasy football show, but I'm going to make it a fantasy football show for this.
You always do.
No, but seriously, when we were having our dynasty draft and I took Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round, thank you. I had to make a deal with the devil to get a guy that was a bust. And then we came back around to that second round, and I had a chance between Achane or Zach Charbonnet. And I was like, I really like Achane. And the reason I did not pick him is because I didn't want 2 small running backs deciding my dynasty team's future. And this is why. He's looked great. He's looked great. I've heard, he's the next Jamal Charles. He's Barry Sanders. He looks amazing. He does. The man is still 5'9", sub 200 pounds. He's not a big man. And we've seen what happens. He's already hurt. So I'm more worried about him because I've seen James Conner do this before. His D falls off. He's out for a couple games. And he comes back and he's still running over people because he's a bigger guy. He's built to do it. Achane, I don't see it, man, because the more plays he makes, the more times we're going to want to give him the ball. And he's already hurt. I'm worried because he's so small.
Anyway, are you done? Thanks.
All right, go ahead, because you're a Steelers fan, so you still pissed off that you feel like he sandbagged it in Pittsburgh by getting hurt just to have a career resurgence in the desert. That's exactly what it is. You're mad.
No. It's James Conner, and the reason is I look at the team perspective. If you're Miami, okay, yeah, Achane, that stinks that he's out. But you know what, JT? They got 5 other running backs in the stable right here. They got Jeff Wilson coming back. They got Mostert still there.
They got running backs they can rely on.
Yeah, you go look at the fantasy football list, who to pick up. Now there's some other guy I've never heard of.
I never heard of him either.
Yeah, pick up this Dolphins running back. I was like, I've never heard of him. I didn't even know he was on the team.
I'm a Dolphins fan. I never heard of this guy, but apparently there's some game this year where he had 10 carries. I'm like, did I go to the bathroom and miss this? You're right. We do got a million running backs.
Yeah, and don't they still have they traded Gaskin, but they got someone else in the stable too. They got 4 other guys in addition to Achane. So as the Dolphins, I'm not concerned. As Arizona, I'm concerned because he's injury prone, meaning James Conner, and they need him, JT. Like they need
He
him.
is their offense.
Yeah, he's their offense.
Josh Dobbs is lucky he can rely on James Conner.
And if they're not going to tank and they're going to stay competitive in games, at least make it look like they're trying, they need him. They need him.
But that's why I'm worried for Achane and the Dolphins, because the Dolphins got Super Bowl aspirations. Like,
they got Jeff Wilson coming back.
We need this. Hey, I like Jeff Wilson. I like Raheem Mostert, but they ain't doing what I seen this.
They have this other guy coming in. I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll be putting up 9
whoever that guy's name is. You probably don't even have a picture on the sleeper app. He ain't Achane. Like, we need this guy to win the Super Bowl.
All right, more concerning injury: Justin Jefferson or Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, that's easy. It's Justin Jefferson, and it got nothing to do with his injury. This might be that might have been his last game as a Minnesota Viking. They have not won a game yet. And, like, Minnesota cannot afford to put him back out there, especially if all this trade talk about Kirk Cousins is going on. Like, they haven't signed him to a long-term deal. Now he has his hamstring injury. He's on IR. Like, you haven't won a game. Why would they bring him back? Like, I think his season is over and maybe his career as a Viking is over. So that is just more impactful to me because there's so many dominoes that can fall because he got hurt at this specific moment.
I think it's only concerning more that it's Justin Jefferson because JT, who's the best wide receiver in the game?
Ja'Marr Chase.
It's Justin Jefferson. But I wouldn't want at any point my best player, the best receiver in the game, to be injured.
The guy he used, like, he's so valuable, I'm going to trade him.
I don't
trade him away in Dynasty. He's so valuable, the best receiver in the game. I couldn't do it without him. Yeah, here, I'm gonna sell out for a sexy quarterback.
You're making this a fantasy football show.
Because you're lying. Keep it real.
The whole, listen, even if it was a fingernail injury,
look me in my face.
I can't because the camera's up high, so it looks like my eyes are going up.
It's not my bad.
High,
You're short. Look up.
Wow. Can you be more
Justin Jefferson? If Justin Jefferson was the best, you would have not traded Ja'Marr Chase.
You made fun of my eyesight. Now you're saying I'm short. It's just the camera view. I've got the camera up high. Wow, it's so disrespectful, man. I hope the fans and listeners really get to see the type of guy he is. See what I got to deal with?
I don't try to be Mr. Nice Guy today.
I'm just saying.
I can just leak the text message.
I don't
want... You bullied me through like 5 group chats.
Again, I don't want my best receiver, the best receiver in the game, to have any sort of injury. It doesn't matter what it is. All right? And the fact that he is and they're putting him on IR, that concerns me. Now, what I will say, though, is maybe in the long run, this is best because, JT, if they end up with the worst record, I think it's already been said by Caleb Williams, Minnesota Vikings are one of the 5 teams he'd like to go to. Guess what? Jordan Addison, former teammate. Justin Jefferson, which I think will make Jefferson want to stay. Vikings will pay Jefferson because they'll have a Caleb Williams on a rookie deal. So I think
how invested I am in the Jordan Addison success career arc. So what you're saying, I want that to happen.
All right, more concerning performance: Cowboys against the 49ers or Bills against the Jaguars?
I want to go with the Bills just because of what they lost in that game. Matt Milano's out for the year from what I heard, broken leg, and I think they lost some other defenders, but I just feel like the Bills defense is falling apart with injuries. They already lost Tre'Davious White. I forgot number 7's name. I think his name is Johnson in the secondary. I thought they lost him to the season that game, but lucky the turf didn't get him too bad. He got back in there, but it just seems like Buffalo is going to be getting bit with the injury bug this year on defense. And for whatever reason, like, I thought they would destroy the Jaguars, and they just looked like they couldn't play with them. And I'm not even bringing up Josh Allen because he was the one player that I thought did his job, but I'm not seeing the growth from the Bills from last year that I thought I would see. And their loss to the Jags is just showing me that I should believe that more. So their loss, even though it wasn't as embarrassing as the Cowboys, like, I'm more worried about their loss to the Jaguars because if you can't beat them, like, our division is still not the easiest. And you're supposed to be one of the top dogs in the AFC. Like, you're supposed to get them games handled.
I love how you act like they got destroyed and Jacksonville's not good. Jacksonville's favored to win the division, and they probably still will. They're getting it turned around. And it was 25-20. They were right there.
I mean, let's be real. Like, if it wasn't for the last maybe like 5 minutes of that game, that score would have looked worse.
Are you going to let me talk tonight? Or you keep cutting me off? You keep cutting me off.
Okay, we get it. The Cowboys suck,
nice.
and you want to say they got embarrassed for the 15th time.
But JT, we're talking about actual performance. And you've got to go Cowboys. I don't care who it's against. You're in the NFL. You got smoked on prime time 42-10 after you hyped up this game like it's your Super Bowl. Like you're going to win and go directly to the Super Bowl. And you come out looking like that? I don't care what other performance Buffalo had. It's the Cowboys. That should be most concerning for everybody. All right. More surprising so far. So we switched the question. More surprising so far, the 49ers or the Dolphins?
It's close. I want to go with the 49ers.
Oh, my God.
And
this guy.
No, the reason I want to go.
I wish you did your weekend predictions this bad.
The reason I'm going to go with the 49ers is because we talked about this on the NFL preview show. Brock Purdy, and I said this, he was under the most pressure of any quarterback, in my opinion, because of the whole Trey Lance situation, how they moved on from him as a number 3 overall pick. So that pressure's on you. Your performance from last year and your teammates talking you up with Super Bowl aspirations, that pressure is on you. And Shanahan and John Lynch's job's on the line. That pressure is on you. And then on top of that, you're coming back from injury. And the way he's gone out there and played, I mean, I honestly didn't think he could play this well under all those circumstances, hanging over his head. So that alone and how he's responded, to me, that is way more impressive than anything my Dolphins are doing.
No, more surprising is not.
Yeah, it's surprising to me that he was able to do that.
More surprising so far is the Dolphins, because I told you 49ers, my Super Bowl team, they're getting there.
Oh, I see.
This is what we expected. This is what we expected.
This is why we expected greatness. This is what I expected, so I'm not surprised.
Are you mimicking how I talk? I feel like you're just trying to
go
go
ahead.
in an Italian
I'm
accent.
sorry. What were you saying?
Yeah,
I
you walked that back real
quick.
You walked that back real quick.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Listen. It's clearly the Dolphins, because I think we all knew they would do well. But to be historic offensively, JT, I think through 5 games, and Mike McDaniel had a great joke. He's so good at not taking everything so serious. It's like they have the most points or the most yards through the first 5 games by any team ever. And he was like, oh, well, we reached our goal. That was our job, was to have the most points through first 5 games of the season. I guess we're done for the season. I think we knew they would be good and the offense would keep moving, but I still think there was a little bit of doubt. Hey, is Tua the guy for this offense? Are they going to take a step back? But they've now taken multiple steps forward.
We just didn't think they could hit this theoretical, hypothetical next gear.
Exactly. And that's why it's they're more surprising. It's not that we didn't think they would do well. It's how well offensively they're doing. It's historic.
Is your comment, I don't know if this was last year, is your comment from last year coming true that this is the next Cincinnati Bengals?
Hey,
is it for real this time? Because you said it last year. Is it for real this time? Because the last time you said that, after you said that, our season went to shit.
Okay, we're not bringing that up then. I want it to continue, at least for your sake. All right, more surprising so far: Justin Fields' success or Dak Prescott's struggles?
No comment. Next question.
That's what I had. Next question. What success? One game that Justin Fields had against Washington, we're going to say that's success? Nah. You know what's most surprising? That we're considering one game as successful. All right. So I'm going to say on this check down, it's an incomplete pass. Next question. All right. So what's wrong? All right. What's wrong? What is more concerning in terms of what's wrong with Derrick Henry or Josh Jacobs?
Both are suffering from the same syndrome, but I'm more worried about Josh Jacobs just because I've seen Derrick Henry do this. So you know the rule in the NFL. Once running backs cross a certain number of touches in the NFL season, that next year is the cliff. Only one man has beaten the cliff. That's Derrick Henry. Josh Jacobs, I'm sorry. I think it's 371 touches or something like that. That's the
last year he had 340.
340. So he was damn near at the cliff. And
he tiptoed it.
He tiptoed. He's like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna save some for next year. And he went too far. And let's not act like Josh Jacobs has been this like workhorse his entire career. That was really the first year that they had used him like that, or he was able to stay healthy enough to play that many games to be used like that. So I'm more worried about Josh Jacobs because I only seen him do this for 1 year. Derrick Henry's been getting 1 million touches for like 5 straight years. So I gotta be worried about Jacobs because he, even in a game on Monday night where he should have done more, he still looked like not the same guy from last year. Or at least I've seen Derrick Henry do it at times this year. His performance is more due to, I think, the team is not as good. Where like the Raiders, Josh Jacobs, they've had some games where he should be doing better.
So it's Derrick Henry, and before I get to the reason, Josh Jacobs, I'll defend him a little bit. He didn't have the preseason, and I think that does affect some guys. He's only 25, JT. So even though he had a lot of carries last year, I think this is his year to get less carries, which he's on pace for way less carries. And then I think he can bounce back.
Because he's so inefficient, they can't give him anymore.
Well, he can bounce back next year when he goes to another team and his usage isn't as high and he can have those bigger moments. The two numbers I'll give you of why you should be most concerned of what's wrong is with Derrick Henry. 29, which is his age, and he's about to turn 30 in January. In 29 to 30 range, that's the true cliff of an NFL running back nowadays.
I hope somebody is listening. I hope it's somebody who I know listens to this show and is relying on Derrick Henry for the long run. I hope you're hearing what this guy is saying and you make a move soon.
Unless your name is Adrian Peterson. And the next number is 1,836. That's the number of rushing attempts by Derrick Henry in the NFL. That's a lot of.
It is. But I will say this. The number is undeniable. But not all touches are created equal. I could argue.
They are.
35% of them touches ain't really touches for Derrick Henry. There was really like the dude tagged him or they really didn't hit him. Like, let's be honest. This is the first year I've really seen Derrick Henry really get hit by somebody. Like, but he's getting the touches, but he usually doesn't get the big hits where like Josh Jacobs, he lives for that. Like Josh Jacobs ain't breaking off 50, 60-yard runs. Like, but he going to get you them 4 yards and like two people going to tackle him every play.
But you got to admit, early in his career, Derrick Henry was doing that, right? And like we've seen him with big runs, but he's not a guy that goes out of bounds. So I'm sorry, JT.
Even if you go out of bounds if you were Derrick Henry?
Even if you get tackled by one guy, it's always going to reduce your career. So you can't tell me of those 1,800, they're not created equal. They are. You're in the NFL. I don't care if you get hit by a 200-pound safety or the 350-pound defensive lineman. They're all created equal because it's going to lessen your playing career. It's just the way it is. All right. You good? You still good? All right.
Good. I ain't got to rely on Derrick Henry long term.
Let's go to everyone's favorite segment. Forget about it or Fugazi. All right. We'll read a statement. If we agree with it, we think it's a hot take, we're going to say forget about it. Or if we don't agree with it, we think it's a cold take, a trash take, we're going to say Fugazi. All right. Listen, JT's been getting into more mobster mafia shows, movies. So I think he's starting to understand.
Just because I didn't watch understand doesn't mean I've never watched mafia stuff.
I think he's
what you're not going to do is disrespect my media intake. Come on, man. One show don't define me.
Listen, man. If someone said, you seen Sopranos? And you're like, nah, I'd be like, that guy's not a mobster mafia fan.
Sopranos is like the final test.
It's not.
Sopranos is the capstone of mobster material. Like once I've passed all the classes and I'm in my 4th year and I get to the final test, it's the Sopranos. So like until I see that, I ain't passed. I ain't get my degree.
It's actually The Godfather, but you've got to be it's on the list. You can't say that you're
maybe I came in with my AA already that I can skip past that and just get to the complicated shit.
Nah. All right, so first one. You want me to read all these?
Yeah, you can.
All right. The Panthers GM, which you mentioned earlier, the Panthers GM made a mistake urging the team to draft Bryce over CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson.
I'm going to say Fugazi because it's too early to tell which one of these guys is really going to be the guy. It could be all of them. It could be none of them. I mean, it's only 4 or 5 games into the season. Like, I'm just going to go back and preach patience because this is the same scenario that the Dolphins had with Tua. Herbert and Burrow took off so early. We're like, damn, like we hate that we didn't take that guy. And now Tua looking like he might be the best one at the moment. But the most important thing is all 3 of those guys are franchise quarterbacks. So just because CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson started out faster doesn't mean Bryce Young is not the guy. So if you really felt that Bryce Young was the guy, you got to wait for that decision to develop before you can say the other 2 guys were the better choice.
I'm going to say forget about it because I told you prior to the draft, I'm going CJ Stroud. He's the most NFL ready, and Anthony Richardson is the Justin Herbert of this draft. So
right now, you look like the Bo Jackson in this draft.
It's so disrespectful. Why you gotta be so rude? You acting like his career's over.
No, because you trying to come on here with all of a sudden this dude wants to revisit what he said on this show.
It's not my fault. A lot of my predictions are correct.
On any other show.
It's not my fault. A lot of my predictions are correct. But so it's forget about it. Still would have went CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson over. So they've got a lot of ground to make up in Carolina, unfortunately. Next one, the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl.
Fugazi.
You're such a hater.
Fugazi. Wow. For two reasons. One, I didn't pick him.
Because you're a hater.
One, I didn't pick him. I picked him last year to go to the Super Bowl. They let me down, so that's why I didn't pick him this year. Maybe I was a year too early, but that's the first reason I'm going to say is Fugazi. The second is I got statistical proof that tells me they're not going to win a Super Bowl, and I'll tell you why. So, only 6 teams in the Super Bowl era have started the season with 5 straight games of 30-plus points scored. Guess how many of those teams have won a Super Bowl?
None.
Exactly. So,
do you know who
tells me?
I want to know.
History tells me.
Who are those 5 teams? Do you have them?
Yeah. 2000 Rams, greatest show on turf. 2007 Patriots. 2011 Patriots. Peyton's 2013 Broncos. The 2018 Rams. And the 49ers this year. Those are the teams that have done it.
But all those teams made the Super Bowl.
Yes, but they did not win.
But they all made the Super Bowl.
They did not win.
Listen.
They did not win.
Hold on. All of those teams made the Super Bowl means 49ers are going to make the Super Bowl, so there's a chance.
There's a chance for them to disappoint you like every other team always does.
I'm going to say forget about it because I look around the league, and even though your Dolphins are playing really well, but they still have their issues. I don't see a weak link in San Francisco. The kicking game is better. That's why they drafted Jake Moody. Like, I don't see a weak link. So, like, we criticize them for taking Jake Moody so early. It's panning out.
You know, you make it. It's a great point, and I
picked.
I knew when I brought this up, you were going to find out that all the teams went to the Super Bowl. But the obvious answer of why these teams have lost is because football is a game of variance. Like, you start out that hot, like you're bound to fade out at some point, and sometimes the fade out is at the wrong time, and sometimes you just run into that buzzsaw that is hot at the right time. And I think it's hard to maintain that excellence throughout the entire season.
But JT, it's also, you got to look at this. That 2000 Rams team faced who? The Patriots, right? With Belichick. So that's an all-time great coach. Then you look at the 07 and 2011 Patriots. The Giants just had their number.
Yeah, it was a buzzsaw.
It was a style.
But that's what I'm saying.
And then you look at the 2013 Broncos. They went up against the Seahawks, which may have had one of the best defenses in the last decade. Then you look at the 2018 Rams, and you say, "Hey,
man, I watched the damn Super Bowl.
Lost to the Patriots again." So my whole point is, unless what
you're saying is there is no generational buzzsaw in the 49ers way.
The one team I would say is Kansas City because we've seen it.
I would say the Eagles are up there too. I could say the Bengals are up there too. I disagree the Bills, with the Bengals. If they get their shit together, they could be up there too.
I disagree with the Bengals. I disagree with the Bills because I don't think they're generational, even though they can give the 49ers a problem.
The Eagles beat them last year. The Chiefs, I can agree with you.
The Eagles beat them without Purdy. If Purdy's
they knocked them out of the game.
That's different.
And now they got Jalen Carter in the middle being a monster.
They're not playing as good this year, and you can see it. Let's face it. Unless they start turning it around, that Eagles team has to go to San Fran. They're not going to beat them. Come on.
We'll see.
All right, next one. MLB playoff games during the day, early on a weekday, is a horrible idea.
So I know I put that question in there, but I didn't think about this. Are you talking about as far as like watching it on TV or people actually going to the game? Which answer is more important to you?
I have a different take on it. So you answered the way you want it.
All right, I answered both. For me, watching it at home, I don't got a problem with it.
Yeah, because you work from home, you live in the mansion, you're on a permanent vacation, you're working out in your gym.
I have a job.
State-of-the-art facility in your house with the big screen. How big is it? 72 inches now, the big screen?
Hey man, you want to show them my tax returns too?
See?
Jesus.
See?
Are you wearing a wire?
See?
Damn. But
no, we're just recording this, so watch what you say.
I feel like anytime you get sports during the week, like during the day, it's like when we have those NBA games during like the MLK stretch. Like we love it. It's like, oh, like the game starts at noon. You know, if I'm home, I can watch it. So that aspect, I have no problem with it. Going to the games live, I do think it's a mistake because not every market that has an MLB team, that city is built for people to get to this game during the day. So like take Boston or some of these really big cities that have like really good public transportation and like everything is really close together. Yeah, it works out for them because I can be like, you know what? I'm taking off from work. I'm going to hop on the train, get down to Fenway, go see the game. If you live in Miami or let's say Tampa, like there's no way it's so hard to get to those games like spur of the moment during the weekday early afternoon. Like you lived in Miami. How hard was it for us to go to a Marlins game during the week at night? Like if the game starts at 7, we gotta leave by 5 and hope we get there after like the first 3 pitches have been thrown.
I remember coming to pick you up for the a Monday Night Football game, the opener, Patriots Dolphins. It took me 2.5 just to get to you. And then like another hour, half hour.
Is that the game where Wes Welker scored like a 99-yard touchdown? Exactly.
I believe
how long it took you all that time. This is a night game. People are already off work. It just took you so long just to come up to get me to go over to the stadium. I just think it just depends on the market and what the travel scenario looks like. TV, I don't care. In-person attendance, I do think the weekday games for playoffs do affect certain teams just based on where they're located.
I went a different route. I say both forget about and Fugazi. The child, like when I was a kid, this is Fugazi. It was a great idea. It's not a horrible idea. It was great. You'd come home from school, games would be on.
The Pirates are losing by 15.
No, hey, the Pirates were in the playoffs. We were losing to the Braves and the Cincinnati Reds, but it was great because you'd come home in games that would normally start late and you couldn't stay up past, a certain bedtime, especially when you're that young. You could now watch it. You could watch the whole playoff game. This was great. Now, as an adult, with the game starting at 3:00, you're working. So I'm going to say, forget about it. It is
really
a horrible idea.
This narrative that I don't work.
It isn't. Hey, you said it. I did. I'm saying this.
Look, I put it on in the background while I'm doing my work.
Yeah. All right. Last one. Colin Kaepernick should have accepted the Rock's invitation to play in the XFL.
Fugazi, because that would insinuate that he really wants to come back and play football. Like, it's not the first time that there's been some league that he could have joined. I realistically, I don't think he really wants to come back and play. Like, why would you come back at this point? He's been out of the game, what, like 8 years? 9 years?
Probably closer to 5 or 6.
It feels like 8-9 years. But I'm just saying, it's obvious if he comes back, he's not going to be the quarterback that we knew he was when he should have had an opportunity to play. And I feel like for him to go to the XFL and play with a less caliber of talent and all the eyes are going to be on him when he's not in his prime, and I think it's a disservice to him. So I think it's Fugazi that he should have accepted it just because it was offered to him.
So I think it does depend on what he wants out of it. If he wants a shot at the NFL again, then I guess he should have accepted it because we've seen guys, PJ Walker, we've seen guys, quarterbacks go from XFL to the NFL if you play
But those
really
guys
well.
needed that opportunity to get in the league to get the money. Kaepernick's
Right.
already been there.
I understand. But the thing is, yes, he's got the money, but that was the question I'm asking is how bad did he want it? Because if he did want to just be able to play again in the NFL, knowing he has the money, but hey, I want to experience that again, then I think he should have went the route of the XFL because if you're good there, you do have a shot at the NFL. But you're right. If he's not interested anymore in terms of being like an actual quarterback in the NFL, which we don't know what he really wants.
We don't, but I will say this, and I have no problem saying this, and this is just me. I feel like I don't know whether I feel bad for him or this is just a strategy. I feel like a part of his brand is I have to keep this appearance of I will keep working to get back to the NFL until I get that opportunity that I want. And he knows that it's never going to come, but I feel like until he gets to a point where it's like, okay, like, dude, you can't come back and play. Like, if he's 45, we know he can't come back. Then he could give it up. But I feel like part of his brand is I have to keep up that appearance that I really want to come back only to the NFL. But he also keeps doing that because he knows the NFL will never give him another opportunity that he wants.
Right. That I guess that is a fair point. Again, we don't know what he really wants out of it, so it's hard to answer that question because it depends what he really wants out of it. But at the same time, you know what? If he feels a certain way that he shouldn't have to go through the XFL to get to the NFL because he's done more in the NFL than
anybody that's going to ever play in that league.
Not only that, but I'm saying like a lot of the backups in the NFL, he's done a lot. He's accomplished a lot more. Some of the starters in the NFL, like a Desmond Ridder, Kaepernick's accomplished.
Why you got to go straight to Desmond Ridder?
Well, because we need to talk about starting quarterbacks, right? And you got to look at some of the guys that I know, but okay, name another one. I don't care. Name another one. Gardner Minshew, like, he has done, Kaepernick's had more success in the NFL than those guys. So, you know, maybe he feels a little bit of a certain way that he shouldn't have to go through the XFL to get a job that these other guys have that have not been as successful as.
I'll back your point on this. And this is another thing we don't know is I think it's crazy, but you got guys like Cam Newton saying, like, if teams come to offer me $5 million to come play, I'm turning that down. I'm like, whoa. Like, Cam, like somebody. First of all, nobody's offering you $5 million.
Oh.
If they do at this point, it is desperation. But
you're just knocking everybody tonight.
The fact that you would turn down $5 million at this stage of your career with all the attempted comebacks, that also could let us know like what the psyche of some of these guys that play quarterback and had success in the NFL is, even when they're out of the NFL. Like, maybe Kaepernick's in that same boat as Cam Newton is like, I'm not coming back for anything less than a starter's salary or $10 million a year. Like, they really might believe that, and that really might be the reason why he turned down the XFL. Like, if guys like Cam are turning down hypothetical $5 million situations.
Yeah, but that is true. But like, I see their point. They've been to the mountaintop. Why take anything less? In their opinion, might be, or their view might
anything
be,
anything less would be uncivilized. Is that what you're saying?
Like anything less than that, it's not worth it for
I'm
them.
not paying Colin Kaepernick $10 million, and I love Cap, but I'm not doing it.
I understand that.
I'd rather get Desmond Ridder for $300,000.
And
that's
true. And you're gonna end up losing games.
Hey, that man scored 4 touchdowns last week.
It's all good for fantasy, but
hey, group on Colin Kaepernick got me the win. Wow. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my goodness. You are so hard. I'm glad the listeners and viewers are seeing the real JT tonight. All right.
They see me every week, buddy.
Let's go weekend predictions. Our favorite segment to close.
I know this shit is rigged.
No, it's not. You're in the lead.
It is. First of all, I don't even know the games you picked, and I know that the amount of games determines on your record. We know what you're doing.
So
this dude is gerrymandering the picks so he can win.
Listen to these records. All right, college football. You're in the lead at 11-6. Then our college football expert, Coach C, at 9-8, and I'm struggling a little bit. I'm 6-11.
So we're gonna have hella college games to talk about.
We're gonna get ready, get your popcorn.
Get ready. We're gonna bet the whole. We're gonna talk about the whole slate. Every top 25 matchup will be on this. I guarantee you.
Whoa, we're going group of 5 too. All right. So first one, it's the big one. Let's get right to it. Oregon at Washington.
Oh, damn. At Washington. What's the spread on that game? I know you got the info.
Don't worry about it.
What's the line on the game,
I'm
man?
not giving you any help.
I don't know anything.
You should have done your own research.
I'm going to go Oregon.
Woo! I'm surprised.
Again, all my moral fiber on picking Oregon. Because you know why I'm going to pick Oregon? You know why? Because they're playing for wins and they're not playing for clicks. That's why I'm going with them. Because Dan Lanning has convinced me that Oregon is a program of substance. They don't play in Hollywood. They play on grass. So I got to pick them.
All right. So Coach C and myself both have Washington. USC at Notre Dame.
Oh, that's a classic matchup. USC.
So both you and Coach Connor got USC. I'm going to go Notre Dame.
I don't be trying to switch your answers based on.
I think they have the bounce back game. I think they have the bounce back game.
Why you didn't give me the answer. You didn't give me the questions this week because you're trying to cheat.
I don't know what you're talking about. All right. Miami at UNC.
Miami.
Woo! I'm going UNC. I can't do it. Listen,
he said this record is more important than my happiness.
Miami, you've got to show me something. All right, you've got to show me.
They're going to show you in the record column because your record going to get worse.
I've bought the tickets. I've bought the gear. I've bought into the hype. I went to school there. You've got to show me something now. We've bought season tickets for years when I lived down there. You have got to show me something after a loss like that. Until you show me we're different than in the past, I'm going to go what history has shown us, and I'm going UNC. But, of course, I'm going to root for the Canes. But I got a record.
I'm just counting on them to lose.
I got a record on the line. That's right. Yeah, I'm about to make 3 games up here. All right.
Hold on. Your record's below 500, right?
I'm 6-11. You're 11-6. I'm 5 behind.
Yeah, you a lottery team.
I'm 5. I'm 5 behind.
Damn.
I'm making up 3 this week.
Yeah, you taking for Caleb? Is that what's going on?
That's right. All right.
6-11.
All right. So Coach C and myself have UNC. You have Miami. UCLA, last one. I'm only doing 4. UCLA at Oregon State.
Ooh. What's UCLA's record? They got 1 loss?
I think so. They won last week in a big game.
At Oregon State?
Yep.
I'm probably going to go Oregon State.
So all 3 of us are going Oregon State on that one. All right.
Tell me. Side note about UCLA. Everyone in all the group chats and online always want to talk shit about Miami Hurricanes can't fill up the stands and get people to come there. Yeah, go look at UCLA's game, buddy. Like, ain't nobody going to the Rose Bowl to see them dudes either. So I'm getting tired of hearing about the Canes fan attendance when UCLA got the same shit going on out west.
But see, I'll defend UCLA because I don't think their fans ever say that because they're in the same situation as Miami. They don't play on an on-campus stadium. They play in a major city. They play in a city with an NFL team.
And Pasadena is far.
Yeah, those are.
I don't know if you ever taken the drive to Pasadena, but that's not close.
Right. So you've got 3 right there. They actually have 2 NFL teams in that market. They have 3 things that go against them, and it's a tourist city like Miami. So those 4 things, like, I don't think any UCLA fan would ever criticize Miami.
Real quick, before we go to the NFL game, do you think that USC, I know they would never do this because of the Rose Bowl. Do you think USC and UCLA should consider maybe playing some games at SoFi in the future?
No.
It's in the city. It's in the city.
But if USC is good, fans will go to the Coliseum.
I get that, but I mean, I think UCLA
maybe
UCLA.
Maybe UCLA.
It's a better fan experience.
But USC, no, I wouldn't do it because that would be like leaving the Orange Bowl to go to, Hard Rock, saying it's a better state.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
The location, though, you're right. The location's the opposite. Miami went out of the city, whereas USC or UCLA or USC would be going into the city. But it's like Miami, though. If USC and Miami are good, They're selling out Hard Rock in the Coliseum.
We're going to find out on Saturday how good we are.
Well, yeah, but we're on the road. All right, NFL. So we got King Ken in the lead. He's got a 9-3 record, JT. Then you've got yours truly, me, at 7-5. I'm in second. And you're
2 games. We will be talking about 2 games.
And you actually won. You're 6-6.
This last week killed me.
You went.
I got none right.
Yes, you went 0-3 last week. All right, so we're doing 3 games here again.
Do it.
Ravens versus Titans. Who you got?
Ravens.
Ooh, okay.
My Super Bowl pick.
Ooh, this is a tough one for me. We don't have King Ken's picks in yet. We'll get them prior to Sunday, but I think, man, this is a tough one
because you hate the Ravens and you don't want them to win. So just say the Titans.
I'm gonna go Ravens because I think coming off that Steeler loss, they bounce back.
I just don't want this guy to catch me.
49ers at Browns. Who you got?
49ers.
Man, this is another tough one. Listen to what would you think the line is on this game?
Oh, I know it's gonna be like it's
Cleveland.
probably like -3 or something.
It's at Cleveland. -3 in favor of San Fran.
Yeah, I think San Fran's like -3 or 4.
It's actually -7 in favor of San Fran. That seems like a lot to be giving on the road in the NFL.
I think the line's going to get more on San Fran's side by the time Sunday comes around.
That's a lot. I mean, that is a lot. I'm going to go San Fran, but I'll tell you what. This could be a game that sneaks up on San Francisco. They come off a Sunday night game against Dallas.
Can I cheat? The game's not going to sneak up on them because Deshaun Watson's not going to play.
He's still not healthy.
That's what's going to happen. He's not going to play.
He's still not healthy?
No.
All right. Last one. Monday night game. Cowboys at Chargers.
Cowboys. The Chargers are going to melt down in epic fashion on prime time.
I'm going to go Chargers on that one. I'm going to go Chargers. I think I told you what was going to happen. They're going to go 2-2. They don't fire Staley. It happened. Once again, the Dawn of Sports predicts the future. But I'm going to go Chargers.
He's like, I told you a coach wouldn't get fired mid-season with a 500 record. Nostradamus.
You thought they were going to go 0-4.
They honestly, if the Vikings weren't taken for a quarterback, they might have.
All right, JT, that was the last one. We're only going to do 3. So, great episode, man. A lot of fun. I think we did some good things here. Miami Hurricanes, please give us this win. Get us back in there. Get us the relevance. To all the fans and listeners out there, thank you, as always, for listening to us. Please subscribe to us. We can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and whatever platform you find all of your other favorite podcasts. And remember, if you like what we do, leave us a 5-star review. And JT,
if you don't like what we do,
leave us a 5-star review. And remember to please subscribe or please follow us on social media. Our handle, JT and the Dawn. We can be found on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook. And remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel of Give Us a Shot Network. And so, JT, until the next episode, see ya.
Peace.
We'll be right back.